Don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do something. You gotta dream. You gotta protect. You want something, go get it. Period.
What's up, guys? Jay here with the For the Love podcast, episode 7. This week I have a friend of probably 10 years on the show, and I've seen her through a lot of different periods of her life, and I think that's what is it's really about, seeing that, being able to get through that, and that's where the friendships flourish. So now that I'm older, you look back at that stuff, and for me to see where she is, I'm very proud. Andrea Franco, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well. You're doing a lot of things now that probably 10 years ago, nobody thought anybody would be doing stuff like this, let alone yourself. You went through things that brought you to this part of your life that you probably nobody really wants to go through, but it brought you to a very prosperous time.
Absolutely.
So tell the people what you're really doing right now.
Oh my God. I run a few things. So I guess the most fun thing I do is my food blog called The Hangry Italian Girl. I started that for fun. Everyone was like, oh my God, you eat food all the time. And I was like, all right, I'm going to start a food blog. And it was kind of like laughs and, shits and giggles at first. But I always knew I wanted to make it like I was going to get paid to do it. And I wanted to get a good following. So that's awesome. I went from, honestly, I hustled with that for a long time. And now I'm paid to do that, which is so much fun. I guess I would call my title an intuitive empowerment and business mentor. So that's my soul's work business. And I help women online build up companies. I help them with their mindset. It's a lot of things I help them with, especially healing and stuff, because I've come a long way there. But I've helped women build 6-figure companies online within a few months, as I have done myself. I'm starting a networking company in Connecticut that's women-based, but we're going to have some co-ed events as well. I'm super excited for that. I'm going to be doing some retreats as well, some, events that women can feel held at and, just really get to grow and expand their mind. I feel like there are a lot of events. People network, people drink, people have fun, but I'm looking to really help women up-level their brains and, heal and feel loved and supported as well as challenged. I'm also buying into a company called Moon Rising, which she created beats for healing, different healing modalities. So I'm going to be buying 40% of that company, and I'm super excited because I listen to everything, and there's like healing stuff and a lot of different things she created, and so I'm excited to jump on with that.
Are
as
those
well.
kind of like...
I should know how to say this, right? Binaural?
Yeah. Binaural. I say that because I love stuff like that, and to be honest, when I sleep at night, I listen to that, or I listen to like rain or thunderstorms or something like that, and because it does help, like if you have anxiety or you have a lot of stress in your life, it does really relax your brain and your body at the same time. So I love that type of stuff. Yeah,
she's actually a psychic intuitive and a singer. Really? So she actually paid thousands and thousands of dollars to go record, and she actually sang and made the beats and stuff.
Wow, that's awesome.
So it's like her passion, but I'm good at the whole marketing thing. So she was like, you.
Absolutely, yeah. You gotta know when you connect with somebody, and when you can kind of connect with somebody and have a similar personality and bring that into the business world, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I look for a lot of those type of people like that, where I can kind of, I look at them, I'm like, wow, their personality is similar to mine. We have a lot of the same views. Work ethic is definitely a big thing. If I see that you have a similar work ethic to me, I'll bring you on to my team all day long.
Yeah, I've made a lot of mistakes there for sure, because I feel like I was always the woman who was like, let me help the world, because I see that woman where I was 10 years ago. I want to help her rise. And it was like, she actually didn't want to rise. Like, that's the thing. You have to meet someone who has that fire and wants it. Like, I was trying to save the world a little too often. Now I'm finding the right people to work with.
Absolutely. I mean, but you got to go through those things to learn, and I'm a big believer in that. That's a very important aspect to success. But
failure.
Yeah, and we all went through a lot of that. Myself, I still go through it sometimes, but I embrace it now more than in the past, where you kind of would always look at it in a negative way.
Yeah, I used to curl up in the bathroom and cry. Now I'm like, all right, how do we make this better?
So it's funny that you say that, because like I look at our friendship, and I think like a lot of my friendships, I have similar personalities with the people, whether male or female, and my childhood was probably similar to your childhood. You know, like we didn't have the norm, I would say, and I look at that, and I mean that's probably most people in this world, but they don't think that. They think that they're just like, you know, an exception, and I think that's why they dwell on it so much, and it brings them down. But in reality, everybody's really kind of going through this stuff, you know.
Yeah, everyone has different things behind closed doors for sure. But yeah, I think when I got to college, I realized like with certain happy-go-lucky families, I was like, yeah, mine wasn't that normal. And then it all hits you, and you're like, all right, time to heal.
Yeah.
And sometimes healing gets a little ugly before it gets good.
Yeah, and it doesn't happen overnight. It takes a while, and it usually takes very emotional parts of your life to realize it.
Yeah, I think that for a while, I mean, everyone has coping mechanisms, right? I was like the runner or the number. I was like, this doesn't exist, or let me see if I could drink it away, snort it away. I know whatever worked for a few years, worst thing ever, but I came completely out of that, and I'm sober now, and you know, I don't regret anything that brought me to where I am right now. It was a really beautiful journey. I, you know, dated people that definitely weren't up to caliber. I did things that I'm not proud of, but I'm so happy that that was my journey, because in the business that I'm in now, I meet a lot of women who have gone through abuse and rape and substance abuse, and I actually kind of like invented this saying a few weeks ago where I believe I was put in the trenches, and I created my own shovel, and I dug myself out so I can hand that shovel to other women.
Yeah, I think when you realize that you're good at something that is positive in your life, that brought you out of a deep hole, it's hard not to embrace that and want to give it to other people.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like some people don't know how to like get, like with what I do especially, some people are like, how do I become successful? And the first thing is start. Like we were talking about before, like before any of us started with, you know, podcasts and this and that, like just showing up online with your crappy phone, giving it a shot, you know?
Yeah. I tell people all the time, I'm like, listen, I'm not in a $1 million recording studio. I'm not a genius. I teach myself how to do this because I want to learn, and it intrigues me, and I'm into art and creativity and things like that. And then when you start to realize you can monetize that too, it's almost addicting.
I mean, you can make money doing anything nowadays. Like, we are the lucky ones. Like, I'm really big into Gary Vee, and he says, you know, look how lucky you are living in this era. Like, there is a kid on YouTube making millions and millions of dollars opening toys.
Yeah, it's
like,
crazy.
If you could think it, you could make money, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, that was kind of like how I said. I looked at it and I said, all right, let me embrace the things that I enjoy doing. And what I realized too was a big thing is when I was in my 20s, I started to focus so much on my career, and not just the negative aspects of my career, but trying to maybe just prove myself or get through those speed bumps. And I was so focused on that you get away from like the things you love to do. Yeah,
that is unbelievably so true. And
yeah.
I feel like you and I went through things like that again so we could help other people like streamline there. Like I did EMT, I worked for an insurance company, I worked at Stop and Shop. I've done it all, but really like I did EMT because my mom was a nurse. I wanted to make her proud. When you go for your passion and your purpose, that's when life starts to change. And that's why I do what I do with women. I'm like, hey, let me help you with your passion and your purpose so you don't have to waste 10 years like I did. Had I started doing this when I had 175,000 followers in college, I could definitely be a multi-millionaire being a relationship coach by now. But I needed to take my uphill journey to get where I was.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's why, like, I look back and I'm like, damn, I wish I had this mindset when I was young. But then I look back and I'm like, if I didn't have that crazy part of my life in my 20s, I would have never got to this mindset. So it's almost like impossible, I guess, in a way. But then when I see people that are young, like certain friends that I have that are 20, 22, 23 with a similar mindset already, hardworking, I'm like, yo, dude, come to my team. Come on my team. You know what I mean? Because I want those people around me. I want them to not just maybe look to me as a mentor, because I see something in them. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard for me to pass that up.
Yeah. I feel like why it took so long too for like me especially was, you know, like everyone, family, friends, like we live in a small state, like people aren't doing these things. Mm-hmm. And when you start doing them, I remember I was in a room with my brother and he was like, get offline, you're stupid, you're never gonna make any money doing this, you look like a fool. And I like went in my room and cried, and I was like, I don't care what anyone says. But that was like the whole dialogue of my family and all of my friends. It was like, stop doing what you're doing because it's dumb. And so I remember the first day where I was like, this is it. I went to an event in New York and I watched this woman on stage who had just as much fire as me, making hundreds of thousands of dollars, and finally it clicked. I was like, I just don't have the right people around me physically right now. Like, I'm looking online, but I didn't really see the possibilities. And I was tired of everyone, like, hating on me or making fun of me or jokes, whatever. I was, like, the laughing stock of, like, my friend group and family. And it was hard for a while. And now I was like, no, this is possible. And I'm so glad I didn't give up.
Yeah, because, I mean, you look at those people, but it's hard when you're in that moment to look at them and say, they're really not doing much either. So why would I even let these people, you know, make me feel this way? But most people do, and most people are fearful to take that step because of those people that judge them.
I think that's another number one reason why people don't start businesses or don't come online on video. And I work with so many women and actually some men now. And it's like, well, what is someone going to think of me? Or what if I look dumb? Or imposter syndrome comes up. Like, what if I don't know enough? And like, there's a million questions that someone asks. And I'm like, look, just start. Just start. If you mess up, guess what? We get to clean things up. Like, there's no time like right now, like today. Go eat the food.
You gotta wait. You really can't waste time.
No,
you can't waste time. I'm a big proponent on pushing that because every second matters. That's why I tell people, listen, I might not be the best podcaster in the world right now, okay? But guess what? Go look at Joe Rogan's old videos of when he started. It's like crazy, and look at him now. But you know what it is? Consistency. He pushes hard, and he says, I know I can do this, and you got to start somewhere.
I ran my entire business in 2019 from a cell phone. I just got a desktop and an assistant.
I created mine as well like that.
I was like, maybe I should actually start being legitimate. But we all do. We all start somewhere.
Yeah. You know, I did a video, maybe it was today or the other day, about passion. And I've been asking people for a long period of time, what's your passion? Yeah. And they can't answer it. And that's like
we
so
know
sad.
That. We know deep down. I feel like every human, society, family, friends, abuse, trauma, it has covered us. So we forget. But like, I think if you unveil, and that's why I talk about healing when I talk about business and entrepreneurship too. Like, I had to let go of society and my family and my friends and all these people who were like naysayers to come home to my body to be like, what do you want? What do you want? Because people know, but they're even afraid to say it because they've been so doctrined to, you know, just do whatever everyone else says, or because their mom, like, ask someone, what's your favorite football team? It's probably who your mom and dad liked, right? How about politics? Probably your parents, right? Everything that we learned growing up, and it's the hard truth. And I've done I did 6 years in the mental health psych program, and I study people. It's something I'm so intrigued by. And honestly, like, we need to just come back home and find our passion again.
Yeah, I think I'm the same way. I love people. I love the mind. I love learning about people. But I also think that a big epidemic in the world is insecurity. It's people, they do crazy things because of it. They feel crazy things. They hide crazy things, you know, and a lot of what people are not succeeding in life with is because of insecurities. They're afraid of what people are going to think, or they're over the top. They're hiding those insecurities by being overly cocky, or
they're lying
about their life.
That's the number one thing I see right now.
I can't stand that.
I know very closely. I was working with this, other coach, and she was like, I made 6 figures, and she was well over 6 figures in debt. So I'm like, you're just being dishonest, and like, I'm very open about like what I make, what I do. It's really important to be like completely transparent online, like what I've gone through, trials, tribulations, the whole thing, because then you're not authentic. And I feel like, I love the online world because it's so freaking beautiful. But in the same time, there's the hard part of finding out, okay, who's real, who's really making that money, who's embodying what they teach. And that's like my number one thing is embodiment. I've hired $80,000 worth of coaches and worth of knowledge that I've been learning over the past year or two. But like, if I can't embody it and live it, I don't teach it, because I'm teaching I'm not regurgitating, right? Like, and that's why we need to know our passion, something we love in our heart that we could do,
Yeah, I mean, these coaches that you hire, where do you find these coaches?
It's always different. Some in person, some online. So like the very first, I found a few online, and again, like, it's hard because it's, who's being real, who's being fake. I fired a girl once and got my money back. I went to the bank and got her as fraud.
Really?
Yeah, because she was actually like charging less than me, trying to coach me. I'm like, wait, what?
What made you think she was not doing what she said she was doing?
She said she was going to teach me all about, this is like the very beginning stages, like my very first coach I ever hired. I don't know. She just said she was going to do things. She was like sloppy all over the place, wasn't very knowledgeable. It started coming out pretty fast that she didn't know and embody what she was trying to teach me, especially like price points and packages and stuff like that. And
Gotcha.
it was
so that kind of happens like even in like the fitness world, bodybuilding, which is like my area, with like these coaches, these diet coaches, all these people. There's a lot of fakes and scams and all that.
It's ridiculous.
And that's one thing, like, I always hated social media, and I still hate it, guys. All right. So just because I'm out there and I'm doing things on it doesn't mean I love it. I do it because it's the biggest platform on the world to get people to hear your story, or for business, you just have to utilize it.
I love it. Like, there's this like love-hate relationship with it, obviously, because there are so many people I work with, and I can see like, okay, you're fake, you're lied to. But again, like, all that negative stuff doesn't bother me anymore. I think I just stay in my own lane and find the people who inspire me. If someone starts talking reckless on Facebook, it's either an unfollow, or nowadays it's usually an unfriend. So, my timeline is full of positivity, uplifting, beautiful coaches, people making 6-7 figures. Like next week I fly to California from this 7-figure coach who teaches people how to host events. And these are the people I want to surround myself with now. I realize that it's okay to be the 1%, but you have to actually go find the 1% and spend time with them so you could expand and grow. I realized that a lot of my friendships, and this is important too, not just family and stuff, is they were like a wheelbarrow behind me, and I was like, come on, you want to come to my level? And some of them wanted to but couldn't, right? And I lost a lot of friends along the way. My friends would say something like, I can't believe people pay you that, I can't believe you're doing this, and they started hurting my feelings. And so I realized that you actually have to find people who not only fan your flames but actually bring you more knowledge, so you're both bringing food to the table, where when you're the only one bringing food to the table and they're just eating, it doesn't feel very good.
Yeah, I kind of did stuff like that in my 20s, where like my first business, I started a clothing line, and I did a lot of the work, and I just, it was my idea, all these things, and I just wanted somebody in my circle to do it with. So I bring somebody on, and they weren't contributing in the same manner. Then you have a falling out with that person, and they want to use that against you.
Yeah, and then you lose friends.
Yeah, and I'm like, so now, but those failures made me understand in business that I can't bring you on with me unless you have something to offer.
I actually just lost one of my best friends because we were going to start a company together, and then she got in a relationship, and I was like, are we meeting? And she was like, we're meeting. Then she would go hang out with him. Are we meeting? Then she would go hang out with him, and then she just like stopped hitting me up. I think she got tired of me being like, are we going to get stuff done? And I think that we trigger people, right? I want to say when you're successful, when you're living in your passion, when you're living in your purpose, people are triggered by you. They will see you, and they either want to be you and learn from you, or you hold a mirror up to their face. So if they can't actually look in that reflection, they're going to want to smash it. And in the process, they're smashing you. They're hating on you because you just shined a light on them and said, look at you. Do you want to rise? and they're like, oh shit, I'm not ready, and they smash it. And that's
Yeah.
what happens with a lot of my friends, where it's like, I want to get in business with her, I want to do stuff with her, I want to learn from her, and then they realize they're either not ready or they can't, or they're triggered by me. And I think it's a beautiful thing, because every coach that ever triggered me, I actually hired them. I saw a girl post this: hire the women who trigger you, they have medicine for you.
Yeah, I mean, most people are hating on people because they're jealous and insecure. We see that all the time, like you just said. I've had that happen throughout my whole life too, and I know it. And I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, I'm being cocky about that. No, it's the bottom line is this: when you have things that other people wish they had or they have done, or these things, you know, it's
things they can do, by the way. They just choose not to.
Yes, and that's why I do this shit now, because I want you guys to understand, like you probably don't even know who I am, and you'll hate on me, and I bring people on here that even talk about that. I had Eddie on last week, and everybody knows Eddie, and everybody thinks of Eddie in a certain way, but I know him in a certain manner. So like, I want people to really understand people. Don't judge people just because they have something that you want. If you see something that they have that you want, ask them how to get it.
That's what I've been doing. That's why I pay people now. I literally found this woman. She was on stage. She was lighting the stage up. She was teaching things that I wanted to teach. I looked at her. I said, you trigger the fuck out of me. How do I pay you? I want to learn. Teach me. Teach me how to do what you do.
Yeah.
I didn't get jealous. I didn't sit there crying. I said, I see the magic within you. It's in me. I want you to help me pull it out. That's what I do as a business mentor, as an empowerment mentor, as an intuitive mentor. I literally just help women what's already in them, and men too. What's already in you, we just bring it out. I'm not creating something in you. I am literally just showing you what you already were. And everyone walking this earth has something they want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, I see friends all the time that are like, they'll be talking to me and hating on somebody else.
Yeah,
but I keep it real. I keep it real, and I'll be like, bro, you're only hating because you're not doing that shit.
Exactly. I'm the same way now.
I put them right on the spot because I want you to know, like, that's not good. That's not going to progress you. That's going to hold you back.
Yeah, I remember I was at an event. I was actually at an event with Gary Vee, and my friend looked at this girl, and I used to be like this, right? And she was wearing this little tiny skimpy outfit. Like, it wasn't appropriate for this event, kind of, but she looked at her and she said, I forget, she was, oh my God. And I was like, what's wrong with that? She feels beautiful in that. And that was the first time, like, I really, like, after doing all this deep feminine healing work and stuff, it's like, why do we care what anybody else is doing? Here's my thing, if they're happy and they're not harming anyone,
exactly,
leave them the fuck alone.
Yeah, that's my mantra.
If you want to strip.
That's my mantra.
You ain't harming me.
I say the same thing.
You love yourself, girl? Do it. If it makes you feel good, do it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's my mantra. I said it for probably in almost every episode. If you are not hurting people, I don't care what you're doing with your life, if you're happy.
Yeah, that's where the scam coaches and all the other people who are actually hurting people, when you go into debt to hire someone and they're a phony, stuff like that, fine. If what you do for a living is harming someone in any type of way, drug dealer, a million different things, actually could kill someone, could harm someone, then we're no. If what you're doing, if you're wearing a little skimpy outfit and you're a stripper, I don't care. Power to you, sister.
Yeah.
I'm here in your corner.
Absolutely.
Let's celebrate you.
Absolutely. You got to be free within yourself, happy with what you're doing. And that's really the only way to get to where you want to be, and let go of the judgment of other people. You're always going to deal with that wherever you go, everywhere.
Yeah, it was hard for me though. I have to be honest. I used to be a very, very judgmental girl, and I turned into like a healed woman, and it took me a lot. That's why when girls, I get messages once in a while, or sometimes people will say things that get relayed to me. Not many people have the balls to say it in my face, but
that's how people are.
It's like, I don't even get upset anymore. I'm like, I'm sending love to you because you must be so hurt and angry to wish bad upon me or to say something horrible to me. And I actually made a story about that for people who are like saying things poor about people. It's like, you have to actually bless them. You have to literally wish them well. Because they're hurting in their heart. And I remember years ago, I would look at someone and be like, screw her and whatever. But I really wanted to be that way, so, but I was hurting and I was angry and I wasn't healed yet. So you have to remember that the people hating on you or judging you are actually hurting in their own manner.
Absolutely. I've had a friend recently when I came out of my little negative hole I was in because of a lot of stress in life and whatnot, you don't really realize like a lot. You got to watch who's around you, because some people feed off of that. They want to see you like that because they're kind of going through that, and that negativity likes to have negativity around it. So those people will bring you down. And then when I started to become really positive and realize what was holding me back, some people didn't want that. They didn't want to see you moving forward and being happy with your life because they weren't.
And that was literally how I lost a friendship last year. It was like dig after dig after dig as I was going up and up and up. And I was just so confused. I was like, what is going on? We were best friends. And then, it's a beautiful saying where it's like sometimes you just outgrow people. And sometimes it's lonely. And I actually said this too. It's like I felt for a while I was at that point where I was like putting my foot on the next step of the ladder, but I was in the in-between. I no longer resonated with the people who were drinking or boozing or drugging or whatever, right? But I also couldn't find my next level people because I wasn't quite there yet. I was scrambling. I was lonely. I was depressed. I was like, it's like you so badly want to go back to that life of comfort where all your friends are like, let's drink and be merry. And I'm like, but I'm like, no. Like, I kept moving. And I finally started to, like, one of my best friends lives in California now. I met her in a business program. She FaceTimes me every morning, every night. Her name is Ashley. She's out of this world. And you know what? Maybe they don't always have to be in person. Because I am looking for more friends here. I just met a girl named Maria who I'm starting the networking cup with, who's also a business coach. And I'm not giving up on finding that 1% here too. But I realized that in order to put your actual foot on the next step, you got to let that old life go.
Absolutely. I had a point in time where I was out one night and I was in a place where I went to for so many years of my life, and I was with friends that just really weren't doing much. They were just staying stagnant and doing the same shit they've been doing. And I don't dislike those people. I still have a lot of love for them. But I just looked around and I said, I can't do this. This is not what I want. And it's not going to bring me to where I want to be. Because what happens is the way I work, my brain works, is I wake up in the morning and I'm thinking about where I want to be in 10 years, where I want to be tomorrow, where I want to be next week. All at once. I can't explain it. I can't explain it.
My brain goes a mile a minute, too.
I can't explain it. But that's how it works until the second I go to bed. I often, sit on the couch probably at like 9:30 at night, finally, after doing nonstop stuff all day. And I often fall asleep with my phone in my hand doing shit. But but guess what? That's what's going to bring me to where I need to be. And those are the type of people I want around me. And that's why I started to do this, because in my 20s, I was very closed off. Like, if you knew me, you knew that I was, you knew my personality, that I'm, pretty loyal. I like to believe to friends and shit like that, and the people I love in my life. But I was closed off. I didn't feel like I needed people.
Yeah, no, same. Like, lonely journey.
Yes.
But on the way, if you want to get to the top, there's people that have to also be on your ladder with their feet too, and they're going to help you up.
Yeah,
you climb faster with others.
100%.
On the same level as you.
I realize it. Yes, I realize it now, because in my 20s, you're kind of young still, and you hang out with those friends, like you said, and you're like, everything's still fun, this, that, whatever, and like their lives aren't really affecting you in your 20s too much, because you're just all young doing your thing. But then at some point, I just realized, like, okay, like, this is not getting me anywhere, and I need to really just surround myself with other people. And my whole life, I did everything myself. When I fell, I got myself out of it. You know what I mean? When things got tough, I figured it out. So I always was like, I don't need anybody to help me with anything. But then in my 30s, and this is why I how old are you right now?
27.
Okay, so you're so lucky right now. I'm 34, and I say this because you realize something at a time where you're still in your 20s, which is very profound. I look at.
I don't really feel 27.
Yeah, well,
like
yes,
an old
of course,
soul.
Of course, absolutely. But I say that because, in my opinion, the 30s is the most profound and important decade of your life, because that's a make or break decade, I feel. if you waste any time in your 30s, you are fucked, people.
Yes and no. I mean, there's some people who wrote a book in their 40s and they're multi-million, you know.
I agree with that. But yes, but
like
you have to
there's no
turn it on.
Time limit at all. Like, I feel like someone can, but yeah, you've got to get there. There are some people who just waste their life away.
Yeah, I think you know what it is? Maybe I'm a little closed-minded in the aspect of you are right in a way that anybody could turn it on at any point in your life. But I feel like I look at society and I'm like, does society have it in them? Because I don't see a lot of them.
I saw a business coach start business coaching. She's 50 years old. She decided that she wanted to make the change. So that's only where I'm coming from with my perspective, what I see online.
Yes.
It's a beautiful thing
We're
when
seeing people do
finally break all that shit that we were talking about and start their passion. So
Yeah.
I don't like to say age stuff. I do think if you already know when you're in your 20s, start doing your shit, right? Like, my thing is I agree with you there because it's like, we don't need to wait. Why are you going to wait till you're 50?
I just hate wasting time. I'm a big proponent on not doing that. That's why I'm big on the earlier the better.
I agree.
Because listen, you got to understand something. I'm also big on how emotions and trauma cause negativity in your life. So like, the longer you're wasting time, for the most part, people who are wasting time are probably depressed.
Yeah, I mean, I see, like, that's a thing where I have, you know, some family, some friends, you know, exes, where I realize that there are just some people who don't know how to heal and also don't want to heal. So you're going to meet those people that there are just some bad people out there, right? And I've come across them for sure, and it's disheartening and it sucks. But, you know, those are the people you want to stay very far away from. But it's crazy how some people actually, like, just don't even know how to heal their wounds. You know, I was just in a relationship with someone who definitely, like, had some serious, like, mommy wounds to the core. And like, his mom texted him, like, 100 times a day, and he was at her beck and call, and it was just crazy. And I mean, beautiful man, great guy, entrepreneur, multimillionaire, but so wounded, and he couldn't see it. I don't know if he'll ever see it in this lifetime. And it's just crazy to me because I'm like, I've healed so many things. Why don't you want to heal people? Like, heal your shit.
Yeah, let's get to that aspect.
Relationships?
Yes.
Those are fun.
Yes, because
I'm writing a book on those.
What I'm saying, you're doing dating stuff with females and this and that, and now what's the whole basis of that? How do you work that?
Like, how do I coach women in relationships?
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I started doing that because I have had the best of the best and I've had the worst of the worst, and I'm really good at, like, boundaries. I'm really good at seeing what kind of man it is, being in it, getting out of it. You know, I feel like a lot of people, especially with narcissism, we get so shit deep with them and we don't know how to get out. And they gaslight us. We don't know the signs of that. And, you know, I've definitely dated a few narcissists, by the way. Mm-hmm. And some of them get you. There was one in particular, I call him Satan. I'm like, how did he get me? Like, I thought it was so real. And I think I
recall that one. For real.
Satan.
For real. But, no, there are a lot of people out there that are narcissists, that have a lot of trauma in their life that they do negative things to other people because of. And listen, and
they're manipulative
so bad, and
they literally can take your life, shake it up, and throw it. And they'll literally throw you like yesterday's trash when you don't want to put up with their manipulative ways anymore, and they'll replace you so fast because narcissists cannot be alone. I remember he had 8 girls lined up before I was even out the door because he knew I was leaving, which I did leave him, and he didn't want me to go anyways. Like, they don't want you without them. They can't be alone. Oh my God, I could go on about narcissism forever. But I will make the transition of, there are kings out there. I dated one of those, you know, 4 years with a man who treated me like I was pure roses and gold, you know, and I know what I want now, finally. Like, my last relationship I thought was a king, but he had some issues, right? Like, I think that what women want, or what I want, what a real woman wants, is a man who can be in his masculine beautifully and balance out his feminine too. And that's, like, weird for someone to hear, but we want men who will take care of us. We want men who will be there for us, but we also want men who will mentally and emotionally support us. So in my last relationship, I realized that he, you know, wanted to help me with my business and wanted to do so many different things, like clean your office, clean my car. But he was never there, like, on those bad days. He'd be like, you got this. And it was never, like, real loving support. And it was so hard for me to be like, oh, my God, this guy, like, for my birthday, he got me skydiving. And I was like, I'm afraid of heights, and all I wanted was some love. And for his birthday, I got him, like, a private chef and a cottage at the Windy Inn, and, like, he just wouldn't speak my love language. He wasn't, like, loving. So I need that masculine man and his worth. That's loving.
I'm going to tell you something. I read a book that somebody else told me to read during the time that I needed to read it, called The 5 Love Languages.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
That shit. Anybody that needs to learn about
your
love
love
or
language.
romance or really like how to understand each other in a relationship, read that. And listen, you can even listen to it on audio on YouTube. And that will really explain a lot, because what it says in there that stuck in my mind was that, you know, you have something called the love tank. Mm-hmm. And you want to have that love tank full.
Yes, and
and
my quality time is huge for me.
And that's what you need to know. You need to know what is
your language and what is your partner's love language.
Yes.
It's important because I knew his,
yeah.
and I was feeding him all of his.
He didn't know yours.
And the thing is, I kept telling him mine, like, hey, I like quality time. You know, I like, you know, what's it? Acts of service, like, or something, whatever. Like, surprises. I love, like, you know, I don't want to have to. Yeah, like, I don't want to have to plan everything. It was like we went to dinner always because I planned it. In the first 4 weeks of a relationship, he had taken me to dinner, surprised me once, you know. But the rest of it was all just like very boring, and like I was dating an entrepreneur that like had no freedom. And for me, my whole life is built around freedom. And he was like stuck at a desk, even though he owned his own business. And it wasn't fun. There was no like fun, loving stuff. And I need quality time that's fun, not us sitting on a bed and going to bed.
Yeah. Well, here's what I wonder, because these narcissists. And
I don't think my ex was a narcissist.
You don't think so?
No, not at all.
But you say that he didn't plan things, this, that, whatever. So
I don't think
do you think that was because his mom always did everything for him?
No, I think that sometimes people only know how to love in the way they've been loved before. And I don't think that he had ever really been shown love. Like, I don't think obviously not in a healthy way, right? Like his mother's love was very toxic. His father's love was very toxic. His ex-girlfriend was a using toxic bitch and actually left him for another man and was engaged in 4 months. I mean, she like took him for all he was worth too. So I feel like when I came into his life, it was like, oh, this woman actually loves me. And I don't think he even knew what to do with it. I think he was so like, psh, that like real love exists. And I don't think he could actually, some people, I believe are narcissists that can't love. And then I think there's some people who are just hurt and can't love. I think he's a man who has to go through a journey of healing before he can give that love to someone else. But he wasn't a narcissist or a bad person.
Okay, I got you. Because I've seen different levels of narcissism.
Oh, there are plenty.
Meaning, like,
I don't think he was a narcissist.
I know some people that are so insecure on a narcissistic level that they don't hurt people per se, but they are very jealous and very insecure and very, you know, so they need a lot of material things to make them feel good, to make them get attention.
And that could be people who are bipolar too, like their manic phases. I really did a lot of study that. They'll want like that high, that jealousy, the manipulation, the purchasing things, the gambling, you know.
I see. It was funny. I was talking to somebody the other day about someone that used to be a friend, and he goes, you know, I don't really. He doesn't really talk or anything to the same people. And I said, that's because that person has to bounce around to different friends because they need to be the center of attention of that group. Meaning like, okay, now I'm into doing this. I bounce from this hobby to this hobby, and I can only be friends. I got to get into a group of friends that do the same stuff.
Because he's the best at it.
But I have to be the best at it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I see that, and it's so blatant to me, but other people don't see it. Like my buddy.
Well, because you know how this just came up. I think this is a good topic. You know how we said like we're the 1%, whatever. There are people that are actually born to be followers, just like there's people that are born to be maintenance people.
True.
Right. So like if I didn't have someone that I could hire as an assistant, how would people like us function? There are people who actually want to do those jobs, just like there are people who want to follow people like that.
Well, yeah, because I talk to a buddy all the time who's like, he can never do what I do, which is like go all day and chase my dreams and all this stuff. And he even says it, but he praises me on it. But he's like, he's just simple with his life. You know what I mean? He's just like,
and that's cool. If
okay.
you're happy, cool.
And I say that all the time. I'm like, dude, if it works
like
for
9
you,
to 5s, yeah.
If you're one of those people and you're fine with it and you're content,
yeah,
it's okay.
I only want to help the people who aren't okay with it.
Because those people, I feel like that's where a lot of deep depression comes in, because you're chasing after what you want to be, but the problem is that they put so much time and effort into hiding.
Well, they're living a lie.
Yes.
Living a lie.
If you take that effort and you just say, fuck it, fuck all those people, I don't care, I'm going to take this effort and I'm going to put it into what I need to put it into, you will succeed. But most people take that effort and they put it into, hiding who they really are, or their insecurities.
Or their job that they hate.
Yes. Back to the dating. I have a buddy all the time that says to me, he's like, oh, I see all these hot girls with ugly dudes and this and that. And I'm like, and I have to tell him, I say, listen, dude, you got to understand something. Women aren't stupid, at least women that know what they want and respect themselves and stuff like that. Like, they're not stupid. They mature as they get older. And if you're in your 30s, a woman surely, for the most part, should know what they want. Yeah. Even though I'm sure you come across a lot that don't.
Yeah.
But I'm like, listen, I feel, and you tell me if I'm right or wrong, I feel like a woman wants a guy who can make them feel safe, make them feel secure.
A man in their masculine.
Yes, obviously a hard worker is probably one of the biggest things I think they look for. Knowing how to treat people, because that shows like how you're going to be as a father, how this dude's going to be as a father, these things, you know what I mean? Like,
how do you treat yourself?
Yeah.
That's important to me.
So I try to tell him, I'm like, you can have all the money, even women, all the money in the world.
Yeah.
You can have all the money in the world. If you don't have those traits,
the last guy I dated had very, very, very successful, and it wouldn't have mattered to me. I didn't care. Didn't matter to me. But what is the question out of that? Ugly? Okay. I have something to say about this. So, there are women like me who, this all goes back to like, what does a person want? What does a person value? I believe that is becoming more prevalent because women are realizing that, first of all, looks fade. Looks fade, and it matters who a person is at the end of the day. And there are a lot of men who are super good looking who use those looks to become narcissists and manipulate. Now, this is not an all thing, by the way. For someone like me, who, I'm sorry, and this is not cocky at all, but like, I believe I have it all. I believe I'm a beautiful, hardworking, loving woman. And so I want it all. And I love hanging out with people who want it all too. And I know that looks fade, but I also want a very attractive man. I looks are something for me. I want to look at you and I want to be like, oh, fuck, yes. Yeah. Tall, dark, and handsome, of course. And that's just how I am. So I do agree that women are going for men that maybe wouldn't be attend to them on the look scale, because the personality and the love that is coming from them trumps that. I have been with people. I was recently out with someone who I hung out with, who I've known for a long time, and it's not even like that. But there was such an attraction there, even though I wasn't, he was short, pretty skinny, not really my type, looked like a little boy, but he was so freaking smart and so sweet and cooked me dinner, and he designed a video game, and I was so attracted to him. I literally, we kissed. I was like, I need to kiss you because you're so hot right now. I was like, I would never date him, but I just couldn't wait to get my hands on him. Yeah. We just kissed, but still, I was like, oh my God, you are beautifully, attractively smart. I was attracted to his brain.
That's what I want to ask. Now, with these women that you're coaching and stuff, what do they say? What do you find is the most common trait that a woman's looking for?
Well, I think what I described before, I think that most women do want it all, by the way. Yeah. There are women who settle, sorry. We want a man who balances his masculine and his feminine. We want a man who we're attracted to. Like, everyone's attracted to something different, by the way. Like, what I find attractive, you might not, right?
Yes, I agree.
But we want a man who makes us feel safe. What you said. We want a man who's going to take care of us, a man who's going to hold the door and pay the dinner bill. And again, like, a woman not in her feminine is going to disagree with me. I'll split the bill. Honey, just, I don't believe in, like, gender roles per se, but let the man be the man. And you can disagree with me till the sky is blue. Like, it's fine. Like, I don't care. I believe that women want to be taken care of. They want to be loved. They want to spend time with this person. They want to feel held and supported too. And that's what I was missing in my last relationship. We want to be, you know, recognized as a woman in held, loving space. We want someone that we could talk to, that we could vent to, that will, like, sound back to us and not just listen and be like, yeah, you know, like, we want someone that on our bad days. A real woman is everything, right? I'm fire. I am sexual, then I'm professional. I wrote a post today that said, and, right? I'm a CEO and I'm an influencer. I'm a sexual woman and I'm professional. You get to be all those things, and a real man will love you for everything you are, because we're wild women, right? And you'll be able to handle us at all of it and love us at all of it.
Yeah, I think a real man's going to look at that and say, damn, that shit's sexy. That she can do all these things.
An insecure man will be turned off.
Yes.
And I definitely realize that being a powerful one like me, who's successful, makes money, good looking, whatever, you know, like, these insecure men, they chirp. And I'm like, you got to go fly back to your nest.
I'll tell you even for me, like, I don't care if you're a man or a woman. I like seeing success for people. I like seeing that for people. And it makes me happy when I see that, because if you're somebody that I know deserved it or worked really hard for it, that makes me happy. You know what I mean? But you see a lot of haters. But yeah, I don't know. So what was your worst experience as a dating coach?
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. That's a really great question. So actually, why I went into business mentorship was, first I started 2 businesses, and, you know, that kind of just went in and invested a lot of money. But before, I'm actually going back into dating. I haven't done it a ton lately. It just actually comes to me. But I realized that a lot of women, the worst experiences were the women stuck in their shit. They didn't actually want help. They didn't actually want to leave the guy. They just wanted to vent. And I was like, I am not available. I say this when I'm not tracking something. I'm not available for venters. Yeah. Or the woman who, like, you know, continuously is going to go back. But again, we all have our own journey. Like, had I not went through that shit, I don't think I'd be as strong as I was now. So I don't judge it. But I don't know why you're going to pay someone if you're actually not ready to, like, move through it, right? And so that's really what was hard for me. And I realized that my content creation was actually attracting that. So I took my own fault in it. Like, I wanted to say this. I love men. I am not a man hater. There are bad women, just like there are bad men, right? Correct. But I think that so much online there is man bashing, and I hate it. We need to support our men. We need to love our men. We need to let men know that they are fucking amazing and we appreciate them in our lives. So I'm calling in my king now. He's coming. I'm telling you, he's coming this year, by the way. But, you know, I'm not a man hater.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's a vice versa thing. Everybody, as a man, you got to look at that too. You got to give women the credit where it's due. And I even realized, I'm like, shit, let me tell you something. I feel women are the most strong human beings in the world, even stronger than men, because men, we create our own fucking problems. We're idiots because we have pride, or we're stubborn, or all these things. We think we could carry the world on our shoulders. And I create a lot of my own problems doing that. But what I realized is that some of the strongest women I've ever met are so in touch with their emotions. And men are not in touch with their emotions.
Women have wombs.
Yeah, but they're not. The thing is they're not afraid. They're not afraid to show that. They're not afraid to show that they're in touch with their emotions.
That's
and how they feel.
That's actually a good point. You said what's a turn on with a man? For me, a man who is so in touch with his emotions. And through the healing work I'm doing, like, I met this guy. I don't remember his name now. Dom and Brian, they have a really good podcast. Like, I think it's called Man Amongst Men. And they are so fucking in touch with their emotions. Gets you wet. Like, it is so hot to see a man be like, I'm feeling this. this is what's going on. Like, you don't need to bury it deep. Like, don't make me, like, pull it out of you. Like, communicate. That was something that, like, was, again, missing in my last relationship. It was, like, this communication of, like, what's going on? How are you feeling? It was this, you know, this ball of, like, coldness. And then it was, like, explosive when it was bad, you know?
Yeah, you don't want to have to, like you said, pull it out of somebody. You want that that communication is so important. You need that to understand each other and then understand how to deal with a situation. Because if you don't know what's going on with the other person, then you can't say there's steps to this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's
communication
steps.
is just like the number one thing in everything in life. But in a relationship, if you're mad or you're hurt or you're angry or you're jealous or something bothered you, the longer you hold it in, the longer the relationship's going to go to shit. So if you can't communicate your feelings, it's nothing. There's nothing sexier to me than a man who's like, look, you did this and, you know, here's how I'm feeling about it. Here's how it made me feel. So often I teach women this too, is we play the fucking blame game. Like, you didn't take the trash out. Don't fucking degrade your man. Don't degrade your man. If you're a powerful woman and you're feminine, you're going to be like, hey, babe, taking the trash out makes me feel gross. Can you do it? And if your man likes you, he don't want to make you feel gross. Instead of, you didn't take the trash out, right? Like, there's just ways to communicate with still making your man, let him keep his balls and his ego, because that's how men run, you know? Like, we don't need to stop degrading our men. That's a big one.
At the same time, you don't want a man that's a bitch.
No.
You know
I've dated those too.
Because, I'm saying there are those.
Me dating bitches is not very good, because I'll walk all over you, like, you know, and I won't mean it either.
I'm talking men that are too in touch with their emotions, too sensitive.
Yeah, no. I mean, that wouldn't work with a personality like mine.
Or the really insecure men.
Yeah, no.
How about all of them?
That's disgusting to me.
The funniest thing that I see
when you match them, they're like, "What's a girl like you doing single? Why are you talking to me? You're so beautiful." Okay, bye.
Yeah, there's a lot of dudes that like to slide in DMs, and that's I was never really big on that shit. Not to say I have never done it, but
depends if you know them, though.
Yeah, but
my ex was like, "Hey, how you doing?"
But
we went on a date.
But I see some women that are exposing dudes on fucking Facebook with that shit, and oh my god, I mean, it is kind of entertaining. I'm not gonna lie. Once. Did you?
This guy offered me money for my foot pictures or something, or asked me to come give him a foot rub, and I actually didn't know we had like 100 mutual friends, so people knew him.
I see these things all the time, and like I see how these dudes are acting, and I'm like, come on. But that's where I'm like, I don't see like. Come on, dude. You know a woman's really not going to respond well to that.
Well, okay, that's the problem. Is there are nasty women who were like, here's my foot pictures. Do you have money? Or, okay, let's fuck. And they meet up that second.
It must work
somewhere. It does work sometimes. It does. There are women not in their worth who are women or who are insecure, who haven't been told they've been beautiful in 6 months, and they'll answer that DM.
The best thing I love is when... Because I've always got along with females very well. I've even had a friend say to me one time that it almost like frustrated him because I can get into a conversation. It's not that I get along better with males or females. It's just I can interact with a human being and have a deep conversation. Yeah. Some people can't do that. Some people
can't go deep, by the way.
Some people can't do that. So
there are surface little human beings out there, and I've realized that I've been friends with plenty of them where you're like actually trying to have this intimate conversation, and I do believe there are human beings who just like don't go deep. I call them surface level human beings who just like can't even have that kind of conversation. It doesn't even exist to them. Yeah. Hey girl, what are you doing? Let's like grab a drink, and it's like nothing else.
Well, because
I used to like that.
Because I can have those, I ended up being able to build relationships with people. They build trust with you. Women love that.
That's how you get women friends.
So yes, and guess what women do? They also love to tell the truth about men.
They love to talk. They
love
get them singing like a canary.
So I have to. I plenty of times I sat there and I'm like, I would hear dudes talking like they are the straight up pimp daddy of.
And their girls behind their back are like,
and these girls are saying what's really going on.
Yeah.
And fellas, you got to understand that shit's going on. Like, here's the other thing. You got to worry about your reputation, all right? At least for how you treat women in reality, because that will always carry with you.
I think it's so funny too that you're even saying that, because it's true. Like, dudes put on this like front. I actually, before I ended my relationship, I went through his phone, and I know that I shouldn't be saying this on a podcast, but he was texting one of his girlfriends, like a good close friend of his, and he was like, "Yeah, like I left her and this and that." Like, it was complete like bullshit lies, and I was like, oh my god, like, you cried like a baby, like, what are you talking about? Like, I left you. I was completely like, everything in his phone, I went through all kinds of texts, and it was just lie after lie, and like, I didn't know if he was in denial or he was like genuinely just trying to make himself feel better, but I actually think he was in denial. And I think that some men are so egotistical. I think he was very egotistical, not narcissistic. You know, they're so high in their ego, and women too, that we don't even want to speak the truth. And we lie to ourselves, even, about the reality of a situation.
Yeah, I see a lot of people do that. It's quite...
it's like, that's not what really happened.
It's crazy. It's
lying ass mother...
It's crazy. And I just did a little video the other day about accountability. People take accountability. Because, number one, that's another trait that people like to see in people. Is
when I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
They're wrong. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
I'm wrong and I'm sorry.
Just tell the true story of what the fuck happened. You know what I mean? Like, oh well.
I thought I was in the Twilight Zone. I was reading these text messages. He was like, "Yeah, I left her house and I left her, and like, oh, I know it's just how I'm like, you just like told me you loved me. Like, what are you? You're crazy."
But that's something that like, you know, I see people do where they constantly lie, like narcissists. When they get into that, say there's a breakup with a narcissist, right? They're very, very quick to go and have to deface the name of the other person.
Yes,
quickly,
100%.
Quickly, and they'll spread every type of fucking lie and bullshit to make it seem like you were wrong.
You were the bad person.
Quickly,
yeah.
and that's
and
I think I follow a lot of these people that are like neuroscientists and stuff because I love how the brain works, and they even talked about how the brain...
They just can't be accountable.
Yes, it's crazy. People, and I don't know, I almost wonder if that's a trait
It's not me, it's you.
I wonder if that's a trait we learned over time because
it's
of society.
Childhood. It's childhood, too.
Yes, of course.
Like a lot of narcissists, as in childhood, I relate a lot of wounds back to childhood. They weren't really shown love. Or they have abandonment issues or rejection issues. So you take that, you take a human being, you call them, you love them, and you throw them away because you don't want to be rejected. And you want to make sure that you're not, that no one's, like when I broke up with Satan, and he told everyone that he broke up with me, and I was like, boy, you done, like, oh my God, I didn't want to tell, I can't even say on a podcast the things that he did, like punched himself in the face, crying, like slit his wrist. It was wild. I was like, oh my God, but because he had never been left before.
Yeah, they always are used to winning or having something there to latch onto if they don't.
Yeah, they just move on from the next to the next to the next.
And if they don't have that, it's a disaster.
Well, yeah, I messed up his world for a little bit.
Yeah, it's a disaster.
I showed him whose game of chess he was playing. Checkmate.
Lord. I think it's funny because like you talk about these stuff and like it goes through my mind because I remember
how many things we've gone through.
I remember it. I went through shit
we
too.
were friends.
Yeah, I went through a lot of.
I was texting you like I know you went through some. We were going through it at the same time almost.
Yeah, crazy, just wild, you know.
And then yours left for.
Well, for me, I think I always realized like because I said in my 20s I was so closed off. I always did everything on my own. I never thought I needed a woman that had the traits of, you know, what a man needs, because I'm like I can survive on my own. I just need a girl that I have fun with and that is cool.
You need the whole package.
And that
whole packages need whole packages.
Yes.
Or else shit breaks.
Yeah, absolutely.
I came up with a lot of good little twist. I don't know, what do you call those things? Slogans.
Memes? Are they memes? Well,
a whole package needs
a meme. I think is a picture attached.
We can make whole packages together.
Yeah. Memes, it's just crazy. I think of social media and how many things are like going on, like memes. Like, what the fuck is that? And then like I can't keep up with a lot of these things. People are like, oh, you got to get on the TikTok and this shit.
I was thinking about it.
I'm like, dude, I can't keep up with them all.
LinkedIn, TikTok, Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram.
Yes, LinkedIn. I just got a LinkedIn.
I gotta get a LinkedIn.
But the thing is I don't really know what I would do on there. Maybe like some motivational.
It's getting bigger.
Yeah.
Gary Vee is
I know.
talking
I watch
about
a lot of it, and I'll tell you. You know what? Here's something I really want to do, and maybe we can collab at some point if you do that networking thing. Because I really would like to be a speaker as well. I feel
it's amazing. I spoke in California in front of 300 people. It changes.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
I mean, here's the thing. I think, I have to look at my life, and this is what I have done recently, is looked at my life, the things I've went through in my past, and say, fuck, man, I was letting those things really bring me down. Regardless of how it happened, who did it to me, whatever, I was holding on to it so much, and that was just creating a downward spiral.
Anger release is a beautiful thing too. One of the things I want to say is a lot of times we actually physically hold trauma in our body and we don't even know it.
Yep.
In some of my healing work, I did actual releases where I talked about a human being and took a pillow and was like, I hate you for abandoning me, I hate you for doing this, right? And you get it out, and then you lay down on the floor and you put your legs up and you actually physically release it. And a lot of people, I'm like, I'm not angry, I'm not mad. Yes, you are. You are. Let it out, heal it, let it go. You might be talking to that person right now, but you might hold physically on something that they did to you a long time ago. So hate on them for 5 minutes productively and healthy, instead of doing something that's not productive, like drinking wine or doing drugs, right? Let's learn healthy coping mechanisms and ways to do a healthy healing.
Right. And that's what happens. People hold on to those traumas in the past, and then the mind becomes negative, the body starts to become negative, you feel like shit, and then you don't realize how you react to things. You're so quick to react negatively, especially in defense manners. And you don't think before you react, and it creates just this whole mess of fucking.
Wait,
bullshit.
you asked me. Let's move from healing, because I've done enough of that for.
What do you want to talk? Food?
No. I want to ask you. You said to me, "What did I want in a man? What do successful men look for in a woman?"
For me, I really obviously how you treat me. I like a kind soul. I like women that are just genuine and real, and I have to know that you're a good person. You know what I mean? For me, this is what I care about. As for other men, I don't fucking know. I have no idea what's going on with them. But, you don't have to necessarily be successful when I meet you, but I have to see that you have that in you.
I agree there too.
To do it yourself. And I'll be right by your side to help you all day long. But I want to see that you have that work ethic. That's very attractive to me, is to see a woman who can build herself up. Yeah. I don't care where you're at when I meet you. I just want to know you have that.
A plan.
Yes, absolutely. And that you can execute those things. I don't like talkers in any genre. You know what I mean? I don't like talkers that people that just say, I'm going to do this, but never do it. I can't stand that shit.
Yeah.
And that's all I ever see and hear. And then I've had people come to me and tell me, I love the fact that you actually do what you say you're going to do. You implement your ideas, all these things. I'm like,
accountability.
Bro, I'm like, bro, but you don't understand. My mind won't not let me do that. So if I don't do it, I'll go fucking nuts. I'll just be constantly thinking about it. It'll drive me insane. So I have to implement these things. But with women, I want to see similar mindsets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to see that you have respect for yourself. I want to see that you know what you want.
Yeah.
I
think very often in the dating game, a woman would be like, oh, I don't do that. I don't sleep with men on the first night. And then they are in bed with you, and you're like, oh.
And quite honest, though, I don't care what you do. If you want to do it on the first night, do it. Your life is your life.
Oh, no,
I don't
absolutely.
care.
But don't lie and
yes,
say.
Don't bullshit. I don't like any bullshitting.
That's what I'm saying. On the line of being authentic.
For the
ain't nothing wrong. If that's what makes you happy, do it.
For the most
However,
part,
I believe if you want a stable, long-term relationship, you shouldn't put out on the first date. That's my opinion.
Yes, absolutely. I get that 100%. And for the most part, I think a respectful man isn't going to push that.
Yeah.
And I've even because when I know I really like a girl, when I know I really want that person or want to establish a relationship with that person, I let them almost make the move. And sometimes women are like, what the hell? Like, they don't know, because they're like, and I've had women say this where they're like, they almost thought I didn't like them because I wasn't making that move. But in reality, it was because, no, I liked you and I wanted to be respectful. I didn't want you to think that that's what I wanted from you. Because 100%. I feel like women, that's all they get. And I try to tell some of my boys, not that I have it all fucking figured out, because I don't. I've had to go through shit to figure it out. But, all these women are being lied to by men. That's all that's happening is women are getting lied to by men. So it's creating a lot of problems out there. It's creating a lot of defense walls going up, trauma issues for women, things like that. And now you're trying to be real with a woman. It's very hard. It's very hard. But I've also come across women that it's obvious that's all they really want. So
Some people live for the drama.
That's true too. I do see those.
Yeah.
But I stay way far from that because I've been around.
But I think that's a good point of I am looking for someone who has unpacked bags.
Correct.
Like, don't carry your last suitcase into my shit. And I feel like that was actually my mistake with my most recent relationship is he had just been out of 5 year that he was screwed over in. And I don't think his heart was even open to love. And I tried to love him so hard because I wanted him to know, like, I love you. But just wasn't working. Bad timing.
Well, like I was saying, for me, I just really, as a man, I want a woman that is going to support me.
Yeah.
Is going to have an interest in the things that I'm doing. Is going to look at me and say, wow, like, that's
how about,
awesome.
like, cooking, cleaning?
Like, yeah, absolutely. I'm OCD, so, like, I mean, but the thing is this, like, a lot of times I'll just end up doing it myself because that's just how I am with everything. Like,
I know. I wish the people could see your house and how immaculate it is.
I just can't help it. I'm so.
I think I have all OCD men in my life.
I don't know.
And I'm very much not OCD.
Listen, I'm fine with it because being OCD has created a lot of great things in my life because things stay nice, value stays nice, all but it makes me stay on top of.
I gotta get there. I'm working on it.
But it can drive you crazy too. But yeah, I mean that stuff matters too. You know what I mean? But I mean, what about you? I mean, when did you actually start cooking? You weren't cooking in your 20s, early 20s, were you? I don't remember that.
I grew up in a family that my mother always cooked.
Yeah,
so
but
I learned how to.
I want to know when you started cooking. When?
I mean, when I went to Graham's, I started cooking with her.
Yeah,
I
can see that.
That's the thing is, we weren't even like allowed to. Like my mom was like the one who cooked, and it was just how it went.
Then how'd you get into this food blogging?
Well, I don't cook on my blog. I eat. My dad always took us, and we always went every Friday out to restaurants.
Yeah.
The best food, and my mom's food was amazing. So, as I got older into my 20s, I was the crazy woman who spent all her money on food. Mm-hmm. Literally, like all I did, I would get a paycheck, and it would go to food.
Yeah.
And I would cook too. Like I definitely would, but I would go out to dinner way more than I would cook.
It is. I love going out to dinner, but lately I've had bad experiences. I've went to a restaurant. I'm not going to name the name because I don't want to blast this place because a lot of people say it's great, but this is my first time going there, and I went there because people say this. I'll tell you off the air because I don't want the drama of how this area is with the shit like that. But I go there and I got lobster ravioli, right? Because I love that shit. And I know it was frozen, people, because half of my shit was warm and good, and half of my shit was frozen and cold.
That's disgusting. I would have sent it back. Please tell me you did.
And I ate it because
What is wrong with you?
Because I'm at the point where I'm just like,
no.
I'm like, I don't want to wait any longer. I don't want to sit there.
Nope. I used to be like that when I had I was a people pleaser, and now it's like if that stuff comes to my table and it's cold or nasty, it's going back.
I'm just so fed up with the fact that places can't do what the fuck they need to do to be.
There are some really good
quality.
Restaurants.
Yes, there are. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of shit fucking businesses. Just in business in general.
Yeah. But come on, that's life.
There are good people, this area is saturated. This area is saturated with restaurants.
I'm not mad about that.
No, I know. It's great for you, but I thought about it and I'm like, because we talk about New Haven all the time. I'm like, yeah, everybody's like, yeah, New Haven's garbage, but
New Haven has good food.
For food, it's fucking awesome. For food, it's great.
But I've been going everywhere. I go Fairfield. I go Hartford.
But that is probably one thing that Connecticut has is great
good food.
Yeah, they do. I love the summertime. Like, to get in the
Yeah.
seafood shit like in the summer.
On the water.
That's what I really like.
I like going places that have like a water view or you know.
There's no real like when I go to different states and shit. Like my dad lives in Michigan and stuff, and don't get me wrong, the lakes up there are unbelievable. But when I go to different states, like that's where you kind of, even though I can't stand Connecticut, don't get me wrong. I always respect how beautiful it is because it is a beautiful state.
Yeah, you get like 4 seasons.
New England wise, it's a beautiful state, but you go to these other states and then you look back and I'm like, now I see certain things that are really nice about Connecticut, and like New England summers really are kind of nice up here for certain things like food, and shit like that. Lobster rolls.
I'm not staying here forever though, definitely not.
I mean, for me, I don't know what's going to happen. Like I said, I tell people this. I don't
think it's my forever.
My goal is to be able to buy multiple houses wherever
Yeah,
I want.
so
In reality,
I'm going to be a snowbird.
For real, I want to just have the ability to
Live
go
on a
wherever
plane,
I want.
basically.
I'd really like, to be honest, I'd like to have either a house in Florida or Arizona.
Definitely
I'd like to
Florida.
have a cottage in Michigan, and I'd probably just keep this house and pay it off.
Nice.
Unless I made tons of fucking money.
Yeah, I need a house that's like in a really warm area, like on the beach. Like beachfront house is a must.
Yeah. I am sick of winter. I'm getting to the point now
I'm going
where
to California next week.
Yeah, you're lucky. I'm at the point now. I said to someone the other day, I'm like, all right, now I'm past the point where I'm sick of it.
Yeah, but it's not as bad. If you could just travel a little bit, you'll be good.
Yeah, I'm actually going to the Arnold. I'm very pumped about that.
Where?
It's in Columbus, Ohio, so it's still gonna be cold. But this is my first time going there. Obviously, I'm big into the fitness scene, and my company, V-Rush Vapes, with the pre-workout vape, only one in the world, by the way. But I said to myself, I got some extra money, and I said, I have to be smart with this money, and I really need to go out there and network. And I have a buddy that started to work for the company with me, and he's gonna come out and. These are the things you have to do in business. You have to spend your money, and you have to go to places that, might not be leisure all the time.
Yeah.
But for me, it's almost like I'm addicted to this shit at this point. I love entrepreneurism.
That's the same thing that I'm doing, going to California to learn, to be a part of a business stuff. And
Right.
I think it's so important. Like, you have to, engulf yourself in that stuff.
Yeah. And that's why, so I'm going to go out there for a couple of days and hopefully network and have some meetings and stuff and meet some people. Fun. Yeah, and I'm pumped to just really start that journey in a different aspect of the business, because the first years you're just really learning for the most part. That's what it is.
Yes,
people don't understand, and I see a lot of people.
You have to learn to like failure, even if you're not really per se, I don't think I failed by any means, right? I'm doing well, but there's a lot of times where I was like, okay, got that wrong. Okay, should have done that program differently. You learn so much along the way. I don't think everything is going to be super flowy for at least 3 years, and things are going great, right? But you have to learn. I remember I was giving a woman a percentage of my money to send my invoices, and I had no idea. She conned me.
Really?
She was like, I'll take 10%. You can use my insurance, and I'll send your invoices. What did I need insurance for? Who's going to sue me for running social media? You know what I mean? Yeah. I was just dumb.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I didn't know anything. I listened to everybody, and I wanted help and needed it. And then I was like, okay, I could just go get Square and invoice these people. I didn't even know I could do that. I have no business people around me. I had to learn everything from scratch.
Yeah.
How to set up my LLC, a business account, how to invoice, how to, what do you put aside for taxes? What do you do this? How do you start this? How do you start this on? It was just crazy. I had no idea. And now I'm a year in, 80 grand of investing. I know everything. Well, not everything, but I know a lot.
Yeah, but people don't want to even take the time. They're lazy, number one. I see a lot of that. But, you have to understand something. I have a 9 to 5. My job is not just a 9 to 5, but it's more than a 9 to 5, and it's stressful as shit. Yeah. Okay, so if you think this is easy for me, you think I'm not tired all day long, every day. Like I said, I'm falling asleep with my phone in my hand at 9:30 at night, and I'm going and doing it again every day. But I do take the day every once in a while to just rejuvenate.
Sundays.
You know what I mean?
I am sleeping. Don't bother me.
Yeah. So, but that's very important too. You can't, you see these people that tell you to be, robots and machines and just go. And yeah, you can do that, but you have to know when to take that break.
Yeah, so someone like Gary Vee it clearly doesn't burn out, right? But like there's other people like me, like I don't know if you know about human design, like I'm a projector and stuff like that. And yeah, like I need naps and I need downtime and I need time just for myself. And I love doing stuff like this. This is like something that like replenishes my energy. It's fun. It's relaxing for me. And I feel like too often people don't do enough that actually refuels their energy or makes them feel good.
Absolutely. And that's where passion, like we talked about, comes in, and to never get away from those things. If you can figure it out. If you don't know, then go fucking figure it out. Because I'm sick of seeing people not
Start throwing spaghetti at the wall, okay?
Oh, my God. Like, it makes me sad. It does. It just makes me sad to see people moping around not happy because they're just not doing the right thing or not understanding themselves. But obviously, I'm having all these type of people on that are doing things locally that people don't understand. Like, there's people out here to connect with, talk. Like, you'll never know what people are doing. We don't need to watch.
That's why I'm starting a networking company.
Yeah, we don't.
I feel like I don't even know half the successful women in the state, and they're starting to come up and they're on social media, and I'm like, I want to be your friend.
Yeah, there's a lot of people around. Just talk to people, man. You'll never know. Well, you open a door for somebody, you get into a conversation, you go to get a cup of coffee, whatever. I've gotten into some crazy deep conversations with people about stuff. And you meet people, I go
eat alone, go.
You never know.
Do something.
So this is what this is about. All right, guys. I want to keep these things going. Anybody that wants to come on, you have a story or you think that somebody can benefit from that, hit me up. All right. Andrea, real quick, what is in your future? What are you trying to do? And what are your goals from here on?
Yes, I'm definitely writing a book. It's going to be a relationship. I'm not telling you the title. It's a secret. But there's definitely narcissism in there.
Of course, gotta be.
Podcasts definitely coming out for sure. Cool. Really, like what you said too, like I'm really focusing on like speaking on stages, traveling, doing some retreats. The Hangry Italian Girl I love. So, articles, videos, YouTube with that. But my main focus is helping people up-level their lives, healing, and becoming abundant. So how I'm going to do that, retreat, events, podcast, book, all kinds of things. So, the sky's really going to be the limit for me. You're going to see lots of fun things coming from me. And I'm actually hiring someone just to work on passive income now because I've been hustling my butt off. Now it's time to make some courses, make some meditations, make some things that, are just an easy, quick buy that someone could get a little piece of me who can't invest in me high ticket. And that's going to, really quantum leap my business as well. So, my last final thing to say is just don't give up. Start because there's no time like now, and no matter what you've gone through and how bad it gets, because maybe like 2 years ago now, I was very, very much in debt, broke, depressed, suicidal, and drinking. And, you can turn it all around if you choose to do so.
There you go, guys. Like I said, I've seen this happen in person. So that's why I bring these people on. Not because, their stories are great, but I've actually witnessed this stuff, so I know it's real. So, this is an ongoing thing. We'll have her back on. If you guys are interested in any of her services, hit me up, DM me. I'll put you in contact with her. Let everybody know where they can find you on Instagram, wherever else. You got a lot of stuff.
I have so much stuff. My main Facebook is Andrea Franco. That's where I go live. I run a private community for women only called the Intuitive Boss Babe Community on Facebook. And then Andrea Franco is my business page on Facebook. Andrea Franco XO is my Instagram, since I think an Italian man has Andrea Franco.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
The Intuitive Boss Babe is my personal Instagram, and my food blog is The Hangry Italian Girl, which is YouTube, website, everywhere.
Cool.
Lots of places.
Well, listen, guys, you know where to find us on, Apple Podcast, Buzzsprout, SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify, so on and so forth. Our Instagrams. We post that all the time. Spread the word. If you guys want to be a part of this For the Love brand, hit me up. Whatever you want to bring to it, I'm all open ears. And same thing with Andrea. I hope we can start to collab and do some more things, because I like to see.
I need some podcast help.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down to help anybody. If anybody wants to get involved, hit us up. All right. Till the next episode, everybody have a good weekend. Take care.